Hello. In this iMovie, I will be explaining what we did for our bike modification unit. We wanted to see what happened if we changed the crank arm to a longer crank arm. In this project, we will be testing for speed. Our guess was that this modification will make the bike faster. Materials that we used. We used a wrench, a ratchet, bolts, a new crank arm, and a screwdriver. You would also need observers, testers, and science journals. Methods. First, we looked at different bikes to see which crank arm we would use. Our old crank arm was 15.6 centimeters long. Our new crank arm was 18 centimeters long. Before modifications, we took some ratings for speed. The highest speed was 12.1 kilometers per hour. Our test track was 13 meters long. After that, we started modifying our bike. And finding the right crank arm was not an easy job, but with a little bit of struggle and time, we found the suitable crank arm. We took it and installed it onto our bike, and then we started testing. Our controlled variables were the bike, number of tests, and our test track. The manipulated variables were the conditions, riders, and our crank arm. Our responding variable was the speed that we tested for. Results. It turned out that our results were true. 18 out of 28 of the speeds in after modification testing were higher speeds than original readings. Baseline readings. Maximum 12.1 kilometers per hour. After modification testing. Maximum 33.3 kilometers per hour. Sample size was 28 tests in both set of tests. Our test track was 13 meters long. In the end of the day, we found out that changing the crank arm to a longer crank arm would make the speeds faster. We found out by comparing the speeds on both of our charts. Seeing the results during this experiment of replacing a regular crank arm with a longer crank arm, I learned that it depends on the place where you apply the force on a lever. For example, opening or closing a door. If you apply the force on where the door hinges are, the door will open very slowly and you will have to apply more force. If you push at the doorknob, the door will open very much faster and you will have to apply less force. We think that our bike would be good for a person who likes to go fast on a road. For example, a person who would like to bike on a highway or a biker in a race. We couldn't find the correct tool to attach our crank arm to the bike. We found out that we needed the ratchet, but we didn't find the correct size that would be good for fitting the crank arm on. So we tried different ones, and finally we got the right one to install onto our bike. That was one of the challenges we faced. Another one was that we couldn't get the speedometer to measure the speed. So we tried different ways, and finally we had to get Mr. B to retape it to the spokes. It turned out that the magnet that measures the speed was in the wrong spot on the spoke.